This is the Darling of the Forgotten State, unofficial OTS member, Noah Vale, and you're tuned in to the OTS Project.
Superman.
Ladies and gentlemen, the hierarchy of power in the DC Universe has officially changed. Thank you, James Gunn. Not The Rock.
Thanks, James Gunn.
Ladies and gentlemen,
thank you to The Rock.
welcome to our first of two bonus episodes this month here on the OTS Project. One of which, this one, will be covering Superman, and our next one will be covering Fantastic Four 2025.
Womp, womp.
But if you're a Marvel fan, get the fuck out of here. It's not time yet.
You got another 2 weeks, buddy.
You got
Get
2
out of
weeks before you see Pedro Pascal stretching all over your screen. So,
God, I'm so excited.
if you're looking for some flames to be on, this is not the place yet. So, keep it moving. We are here to talk about the son of Krypton, Mr. Superman himself, the Man of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
This is our Superman 2025 review. So, Theo, we actually had our out-of-theater review, if anybody saw it on social media. If not, maybe pause this real quick, go watch that, and then come back and get, you'll have a little bit more knowledge of what we were feeling when we walked out of the theater. Definitely two kind of varying sides of the coin when it came to this movie, for sure. I feel like most of our reviews, whether it was for Captain America Brave New World, Thunderbolts, have been very similar. We've both been, we really enjoy it. This one we have different views. So I just wrote down a bunch of notes that I just kind of thought about with the movie, so I'm just going to end up running through that. But in general, I thought it was a good movie. Let me say that. I thought it was a good movie. I do not think it was a bad movie at all. And I think it is a good start to this new universe that we are, going to be living in here for probably the next 20 years if all goes correctly here. Personally, though, I am not the biggest Superman fan, so that is where I kind of strayed away with. This movie did not necessarily connect with me. Doesn't mean I don't think it's a good movie. I just want to make that clear because I feel like in social media and stuff like that these days, if you just say like, it wasn't for me, you immediately hate it. And I don't hate it. I actually do enjoy this movie. It's just that the character of Superman currently is not one of my characters, so I didn't have this huge personal connection to it. But I did think it was a good movie. It was a fun movie, and again, I do think it is a good start. But Theo, what did you think?
So I obviously loved it so much. I mean, Superman is my favorite superhero of all time. He's my favorite DC character, and I very much enjoyed the movie. I remember giving it an 8 out of 10 out the theater. After sleeping on it, I think I'm going to up it.
Oh,
9. I'm upping it. I fucking as I was like going to the gym this morning, I was kind of like talking to myself about it almost, to where I was like, I mean, I didn't really like this or this, but I like this, I like this, I like this. I'm like, wow, okay, I actually have like 30 likes to like 3 dislikes when it comes to like this movie and stuff like that. And I was like toying with the idea of this being like my new favorite Superman movie, and I think I'm gonna say that it is.
Oh shit!
I did very much like it. I don't want to like adamantly say that until I see it again, because it's like I've seen the original movie like 4 times. I've only seen this one obviously once, but like from where I'm sitting at right now, I really did enjoy it a lot. I think there was a lot of good stuff, not only just setting up like Superman as a character in this movie, which they did do very well, but also just like setting up a bunch of different stuff in the DCU. Because especially with like the Justice Gang and stuff like that, I think they did a lot of stuff setting up the working name, the world of this new DCU, and I'm very excited to see where they go with that. But I love the movie a lot. I really, really did enjoy it. I can't wait to see it again with my dad next week. We're going to be seeing it again, and I'm very excited about that.
Hell yeah, definitely. I do have some things that I did not like about this movie, but I do have things that I did like about this movie for sure. But I will say, you having an overwhelmingly positive amount of likes to dislikes is very uncommon. So this really does mean something, because normally, even if you like a movie, you still have more things that you didn't care for about the movie than things you did care for. So that really sets in stone for me that this is big for you. But would you say, because you now are saying, and we're not setting in stone, but you are saying that it probably is going to be your new favorite Superman movie. Is Corin Sweat your new favorite Superman? Is he going to top the OG?
That's one of the big issues I have with this dilemma is that it's still like I love David Quinn. I think he did an incredible job as Superman. There were moments in that theater where I was just like almost overwhelmed with emotion, just being like, "Holy shit, that is Superman right there." So I did think he did a very, very good job.
You were very locked in because anytime we see a movie, we like to like joke around throughout the movie, and every time I joked around, you just were dead straight, just staring at the screen.
I was like, I can't.
You just zoned me out, bro. You just zoned me out.
I had to zone you out, man. I'm sorry. I had to lock in there.
That was another point though, where I was like, "Oh shit, he's really locked the fuck in." I've never seen him more invested in a movie. Bro.
I'm like, I've been waiting for this movie for years. I gotta be locked in here. Hold up.
Yeah.
But that's the big dilemma is do I like him more than Christopher Reeve? I don't really know because it's like to me, I honestly don't even know if I can put one over the other. To me, it's like 1A and 1B. I think they're both equally as good of Superman as the other. But he did do an incredible job last night. I'm not saying that he didn't.
I am gonna assume you like him more than Henry Cavill.
Yes, I like him more than Henry Cavill.
And I mean, you haven't seen Brandon Routh, so that obviously clearly he's bigger on your list. Yeah. All right. So I'm just gonna dive into kind of my list of notes here, and we can riff off each other. So right off rip, Bradley Cooper as Jor-El. I thought that was cool as hell. I thought that was really fun. I know obviously he's Rocket Raccoon, so he's obviously got a very close friendship with James Gunn. So I thought that was awesome. And then afterwards, as I got home, I did see an interview where James Gunn did just spoil that he was in the movie because I guess the interviewer asked, like, how did that come together? And he's like, oh, my buddy Bradley Cooper, I just asked him if he wanted to do this. We flew him to London. He filmed for like half a day and then went home.
I'm glad you did bring up Jor-El and as well as Lara L, his mother.
Yeah.
That I think may honestly be my biggest gripe with this movie. Honestly, we talked about it on the car ride home after the movie and stuff like that. But this was a very unique take in where they are pretty much like villainized almost.
Right.
And because there's this whole bit where it's like Superman is like following this like damaged message from his parents. They're telling him like spread hope and stuff like that.
Right. He only ever saw the first half of the message.
Right. Be the protector of Earth and stuff like that, and like be the protector of its people and stuff like that. And then, like the setting up part of like the entire movie and its story is that like Lex Luthor essentially finds these like I don't even know what they're exact like linguists pretty much like 20, 30 different linguists where they're all like we don't really know the language, but according to the language and what we can decipher, it seems like that they're talking about like having Superman dominate the world and take over the world and stuff like that, and have this whole like harem of women and stuff like that. And I'm like,
basically restart Krypton
essentially. And it would have been fine if it was like if it turned out to be like that was actually just Lex Luthor paying off these linguists to say this sort of stuff. And it was just kind of
that's what we all thought was going to happen.
Yeah, that's what we thought was going to, but then it just didn't happen. So now it's just like kind of cemented in this universe that Jor-El and Lara L are just like pieces of horrible shit colonizers.
Right.
And I didn't like that at all because I've always liked the idea that he's just had these like two sets of like parents that are good for him. One that sets him up to be a better Superman, and one that sets him up to be like a better like person and a Clark Kent and stuff like that. To where there's that dichotomy. But now
they teach him how to be a human being.
Yes, they teach him how to be a human being and stuff like that. But now it's just like he has his Earth parents that just teach him how to be a better person and a better human being, and now he just has his colonizer parents that he now has to like block out for the rest of his time on Earth and stuff like that because they're fucking terrible now.
Right. He just acts like that doesn't exist anymore.
He's like, we're just gonna scrub that one from the history books. That didn't happen.
Right.
I overcame that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I didn't like that. I did think it was gonna be revealed in the movie that Lex photoshopped it up or edited it, so that's what it said, and then you get the full message, and it's just more of them saying how maybe how beautiful Earth is and how the people are good people and protect them and take care of them. That wasn't the case. So yeah, that was a big thing I've seen a lot of people talking about online that they didn't like. Yeah, I didn't like it either. Again, I'm not super familiar with his parents, his Kryptonian parents, but everything I've seen seems like they were also good people like Pa and Ma.
Yeah.
So yeah. Crypto and Guy Gardner were my standouts of this movie.
They definitely They were very good. I would definitely probably put them in my top 5 as well. Crypto being like a legitimate dog throughout the movie and stuff like that, and just being like poorly trained, I think set up a lot of good comedic bits.
I think I liked it more because I have a dog that's pretty much exactly like that.
Right,
so.
it's so realistic. It's like this is how a dog should be acting in a movie and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, no, definitely. Nathan Fillion is Guy Gardner, man. Oh my,
so good, dude.
God.
So good.
He is so good in that.
Honestly,
role.
his stuff with James Gunn in general was just so great because like his role in Guardians 3 as like the random like security guy, and he's just talking about how he's like, it's the boss's son. I wish I could kill him, but I can't. Like just anything is just so good. That whole scene is hilarious. So him as Guy Gardner was also great. Going into this movie, I thought my takeaway, my biggest standout was going to be Isabella Merced as Hawkgirl. And I did like her, but I can't say she was my biggest standout because I feel like she wasn't in the movie that much. And even when she was in the movie, she didn't have a ton of lines. She maybe had like maybe 4 or 5 lines. Like she didn't have a lot of lines, so I didn't have a lot to kind of grab onto. So maybe Peacemaker season 2 is where I'll get my more Isabella Merced and Hawkgirl. So yeah, Crypto and Guy Gardner were definitely my standouts in the movie, as well as Steve the franchise Lombard. He was great.
Man, let me tell you, I've never seen someone be so heavily excited for Steve Lombard as Kyle over here. But man, he fucking loved Steve Lombard. I mean, I liked Steve Lombard. I think he did very good. But he's just not in that many. He only has like a couple scenes, and he's definitely more like comedic relief. And
yet
like
he
that.
steals the show every time.
Steve the franchise Lombard.
Yes, that's a nickname that we made up for.
That Beck Bennett was cast for him, I'm like, James Gunn knows what he's doing with this one for sure.
So good, bro. So good. It was so hilarious. We've loved him for years on SNL, and he just took everything. He just took his whole SNL personality and just brought it into this character. So it just made it so great. The part where they get in the ship and he's just like, wait, why don't I have a seat? And then immediately gets thrown against the wall. Was just so good, dude. So good.
I love the scene where he's like, his very first scene where like Clark comes into the building and stuff like that, and he's on his phone with his parents and stuff like that, and he's just ribbing him the entire time and shit like
just
that.
Shitting on him the whole time.
This is Steve Lombard. This is absolutely Steve Lombard. Yes, for sure.
Yeah, like because even like we said, and we said it in the attitude review, Man of Steel. We talked about in our review how the those characters are barely in the movie and they have no personality. Because I believe in Man of Steel, the like half bald guy is supposed to be Steve Lombard, and he just like not even a comparison, dude. Not even I can't even compare him. Beck as Steve Lombard is just 1,000 times better. Right, he's somewhat of a antagonist to Clark because I think he says like 2 kind of asshole-ish lines about Superman or something like that. That's basically it. This man,
he's almost
as
like
Steve
Flash
is so
Thompson
good.
in a sense where it's like he's bullying his favorite superhero. He just doesn't know it.
Right. Yeah. So Beck as Steve Lombard is definitely the best, bro. That shit was great.
Right.
Out of the whole cast, I think, and we could debate this because I don't know how you feel. The best acting out of anybody in this thing was Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor.
Yes.
Also, though, I will say he is definitely the best actor out of the whole cast. I could say that for sure.
Oh yeah, I've been following his stuff for years. I've seen him in a bunch of different stuff. I've been following him for a while, so it's really
even
nice
him
to
as
be in this role.
Yeah, even him as Beast in X-Men, he was great.
Yep, he was Beast
did
in
great
X-Men.
stuff.
He was Renfield in Renfield. There's a show that was on Hulu that goes over like Catherine the Great's reign of like Russia and stuff like that, and he played like her husband Peter and stuff like that, who was like the original ruler of Russia, and he was super fucking funny in that. So following his stuff throughout the years has been great, and it's great to see him continuously being great because I do think this is probably the best interpretation of Lex Luthor that we've gotten in live action. Not to say that Gene Hackman was great. Gene Hackman was great. I loved his Lex Luthor. I just think this is the most accurate Lex Luthor.
I also liked Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor, but Nicholas Hoult still blows him out of the water for sure.
For sure, he definitely went in there. He knows the character. He understands the character. He gets it
for sure.
Because it's like there are those moments like where it's like pure Lex Luthor, where he's like just like trying to rage bait Superman and, stuff like that, and be like comedic with him and being like teasing like, "What did I do? I didn't say anything. I was just drinking my coffee and shit like that." But then he'll actually be like super driven to like try and kill Superman and stuff like that. And I'm like, this is Lex Luthor to a T for sure.
For sure. His acting, I probably most know him from being Beast. Did you watch Dark Phoenix?
I did watch Dark Phoenix, yes.
The scene, I think it's in Dark Phoenix, 'cause I think it's when Mystique dies. The scene after, where Hank is like in his house and Charles is with him. That scene was incredible. His acting was great, where he like throws the whiskey bottle off the table or whatever. That shit was great. So that's where I really was like, oh, this kid knows what he's doing. So when I saw him as Lex Luthor, I was like, oh, he's gonna cook, and he did. I think he legitimately had the best performance out of the whole cast in this movie.
Right. I would agree with that. I mean, David Corn Sweat as Superman, I think definitely is like a runner-up for sure, because I think he just definitely embodies Superman. There's a lot of dialogue there where I was like, that is super silly and campy and exactly what I want to be hearing from Superman, because that is just his character in the comics and stuff like that. But you can't go wrong with Nicholas Hoult. He is an incredible actor, and he did an incredible job with this role for sure.
For sure. Something I was not a fan of, or at least not unsure of. I am not convinced on Lois Lane. Rachel, I'm forgetting she was Miss Maisel, but I'm forgetting the actress's last name. But
Rachel Brosnahan?
Brosnahan, yes. Like I don't know, man. I mean, again, I'm not super familiar with her in general, like the character. But I don't know. I just didn't really care for the character. I guess I'm not convinced that she was like, a great character. So that's one of my things. I was like, I don't know how I'm feeling about this.
I liked her character. I liked her performance. I think her as a character, she did really well in embodying the character. I just don't think the character was all that like great in the movie, I would say.
Right.
At least in comparison to other Lois Lanes that we've gone.
Lanes.
Lois Lanes. I keep doing it. I don't know why.
That's the gender bent version.
Gender bent. I don't know why.
Gender swapped.
A hard time with Lewis and Lois. But there is.
But I will say, I do like the scene of them, like in the apartment at night or whatever, when the Justice Gang or whatever is out there fighting, and I did like that scene. That was like the one scene I did like, for sure.
To me, it's like she is an incredible actress, and the character is done really well in the movie, but for some reason I just can't like cross section those two things together.
Right.
If it makes any sense.
That's what I'm saying. Like something wasn't connecting to me.
Something wasn't connecting. Exactly. It's like she did a good job, but it's like I was kind of, I guess, expecting a little bit more, or maybe something a little bit different.
Right.
I don't know. But there is in Superman Lois. God
damn, bro.
I don't know what the fuck it is. I just can't say it right the first time. Superman and Lois.
There you go.
The actress for Lois in that show, I think, is probably like, I think she's the most best and accurate representation of Lois Lane, in my opinion. What's her name? Bitsy Tulloch. I think she does an incredible job. To me, she's my Lois Lane, but like I definitely think that Rachel definitely did a good job here still with this role.
Yeah, I really have like very little with the character. I haven't watched that show. I'm watching Smallville, but she shows up like later. I'm not at the point where she shows up.
Right.
And like the original movies I haven't seen since I was a kid. Superman Returns, she's not that great. So like my Lois Lane is probably Amy Adams, and I think she did a good job in those movies. So yeah, that's like my most connection to a Lois Lane is Amy Adams. So yeah. But I do have here that Corn Sweat is Superman. That's all I wrote there. Genuinely, he embodied this character for sure. I don't know if I like him more than Henry Cavill, because Henry Cavill was a different take. But when I'm saying like, when I say like, I'm not necessarily saying the performance and stuff like that. I'm saying like, just dead on, if I'm looking at the two side to side, I feel like Henry Cavill looks more like what I would think Superman looks like. So
I disagree personally. To me, it's still, I think Christopher Reeve, if you're talking about like design, like character design, right. To me that is like one-to-one.
Well, that's true. Action. Even again, it's been so long since I've seen those, but even I know like he is Superman. Nobody's touching like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like comparing the other two. But I still feel like I don't know, when I see Henry Cavill, I just feel like maybe his facial features and like his size makes me think more Superman than Corn Sweat.
Right.
But again, that's just me personally. So
someone that I want to bring up that you haven't brought up yet that I really want to bring up because I enjoyed his character a lot is Jimmy Olsen, who's portrayed by Skylar Gisondo. I don't know if you've seen Righteous Gemstones or not, but he was in that show a lot, and he did a very good job in that show, and he did very well in this role because what I love most, he was my favorite character in the movie. What I love most about this character is that he goes off on his own side adventures just as he does in the comics, and I was like, this has to be one of the most faithful and accurate tellings of a comic character to a movie I've ever seen. Because Jimmy Olsen will just do this stuff in the comics, but he'll just go off on his own like side adventures and whatnot while Superman is like trying to save the city and shit.
Right.
And fucking Skylar does an amazing job of playing the character. He had a bunch of great moments, whether it was like comedic bits or like actually contributing to the plot and stuff like that. I loved his character so much. I think they did a fantastic job with him.
He was great. We were laughing. Anytime he was on screen, we were just cracking up. The fact that he's like this small, almost nerdy, unassuming guy, but he's like, all the women are just like falling over when they see him. Like, that was so funny. The part where he's on the phone and he's all alone in the Daily Planet, he's like, yes, yeah. You and I were dying laughing. So yeah, I also love Jimmy Olsen. I thought that was great. I did see James Gunn say in an interview that he's been contemplating like a spin-off TV show for Jimmy Olsen. So that would be pretty fun.
Amazing. I would love it. Even if it's just like short 15-minute episodes or something like that.
Right.
Give it to me. I'll take it.
That would be great. Short episodes. You get a premise of what Superman is doing, and Jimmy is just on his side quest, kind of helping Superman, doing whatever he has to do. That would be great. Some cool cameos though. There was multiple cameos, and we'll get into two other ones. But the two that I'm talking about are smaller. Rick Flag Sr. and Max Lord both make a cameo in here. Rick Flag Sr. was probably bigger because he was introduced in Creature Commandos. So he is the first character in this universe to show up in one project and then show up in another project. So that was cool. Right. He played by Frank Grillo, I believe, who I only really know he was Crossbones in the MCU.
Right, yeah, Crossbones.
Yeah, so I thought that was really cool, and especially too the medium, because Creature Commandos is all animated, and obviously he's animated to look like Frank Grillo, and then he crosses right over into live action seamlessly. I thought that was beautiful. He doesn't have a big role. He's in a couple scenes, but he doesn't have a big role. But I did think that was cool, and clearly James Gunn is setting him up to be a very big character in this universe for sure. We don't know where where Rick Flag Jr. is at. We don't know where he's at, but maybe we'll get that too at some point. And Max Lord. Yeah, but that's in the other universe, so we don't know if it's gonna cross over. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So,
right.
And Max Lord, he pops up at the end, played by James Gunn's brother, Sean Gunn, who's also pretty good. I know he was Rocket. Yeah. He was like the on-set Rocket, and obviously Kraglin in the Guardians movies, and he's fun as that character. So yeah, he's played by his brother. And again, I don't know too much about Max Lord, but it seems like kind of tech billionaire kind of guy. The Justice Gang or whatever, they clearly say that they kind of work for him. I know they said it in the movie. They also say, I think they say it in the Peacemaker trailer, that they're part of whatever his company is. So again, definitely seems like he's going to be set up to be a pretty big character in this universe, and how that's going to all tie into Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific, and stuff like that. So I thought that was cool. But then there were two other cameos that were way bigger. Peacemaker just casually shows up on a talk show, which I thought was awesome. Big pop from all of us, from literally everybody. Like you, me, Logan, Grace. We were all like, oh shit, and we were all laughing. So that was great. And such a perfect role where he was just like shitting on Superman and stuff like that. That stuff was great. And yeah, probably the biggest cameo though. Supergirl shows up at the end of the movie to collect crypto. Very cool. Shows up drunk and stumbling around. And I'm not too familiar with the character, but I know that's something that's kind of a part of her character. She can be kind of wild and crazy.
Right.
So her popping up, being drunk was great. Definitely, this was a big moment for sure, because, again, Grace is not a big Superman fan, doesn't really care. Since last night, she's brought up multiple times this morning how funny it was that she's just like, bye, bitch, and left. Grace has brought that up like 3 or 4 times already today. So that was definitely a big moment. We know that they've already shot her movie. It's already filmed, and that is the next movie that's coming out next year, a little less than a year from now. So we know that's already there. She came to get crypto, so I would imagine crypto is going to be in the movie. But I'm excited. I thought that little snippet we got was very fun. And for someone that knows that the movie is coming, I'm excited to see more of that character, because it was definitely very fun. Right. Anything you want to talk about on any of those 4 cameos?
I fucking love the goddamn fucking Peacemaker cameo. That shit was great. That was my favorite cameo, honestly. Oh, we gotta talk about the fucking Maxwell Lord. Oh no, it wasn't Maxwell Lord. It was fucking after that, where fucking Lex Luthor gets arrested, and the fucking cop was like, "Why don't you go to fucking Belle Reve, you bald bitch?" And you fucking
he said get his bald ass to Belle Reve or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And I don't know if I've for a long time seen you stand up and clap so quickly and fucking vigorously, ever. You fucking hate bald people.
So here's the thing. Here's the backstory for anybody that's watching. I do not hate bald people, right? There is this running gag that I have created in my own mind where I want to convince my friends and family that I hate bald people. So I will just constantly do this stuff. And it started, I think, as a way to troll Eddie Torres, who's a wrestler here in Florida, who is bald, and he's like an older wrestler. I think it started as a way of me to troll him and be like, grow some hair on your head. So now it's just evolved into this thing. So I do not actually hate bald people, but it's just this running joke that I keep going where I make everybody think I hate bald people. So when they said, get his bald ass to Belle Reve, I legitimately hopped up and started clapping because I just thought it was hilarious.
Insane.
Oh, man.
I want to bring up Mr. Terrific because I feel like he was definitely a sleeper pick for a lot of us. Like, I don't think we were expecting too much of him, but he definitely carried in a few scenes for sure, especially with that fight scene that they had at like the military camp and whatnot, where he was just like hurling balls at fucking these people with fucking
that
Hawaiian
fight scene was
shirts,
fire.
Why we never got an answer as to why all these people that worked for LexCorp were just hanging out in fucking military
vacation shirts
with vacation shirts on, and the others were like completely head to toe armored up.
It's
we never got an explanation for
that. The Dave McKittrick fan club. That's what they are.
Yeah, exactly. Dave McKittrick, friend of the pod.
Yes, sir. Good man.
But,
that fight scene was fire.
I liked his character a lot. I thought it was cool. I hope we get to see more of him again. I'm sure we will with future Justice Gang stuff with Maxwell Lord and whatnot.
There's something I want to talk about though, similar because it leads into that from that fight scene. It leads into it. I did not like the pocket dimension stuff. Any of it. I did not like any of that stuff.
I didn't care for it much either.
Especially the like Minecraft pixel river of destruction. I did not care about any. Like I was like, it almost
the anti-polarity river or whatever the fuck it was called.
It almost genuinely took me completely out of the movie. I legit was like, I don't know what I'm even looking at right now. It was so like complicated and confusing and just
was a weird sequence.
Somehow it was like unique but generic at the same time, and I was like, I just don't like it. The baby Joey stuff, I'm like, that added to it because he's like in this weird Minecraft river with like this alien big-headed baby. He's trying to. I'm like, I don't know what's happening, but I want us to get back to Earth because I don't like any of this stuff. So that's one of the biggest things for me that I didn't like about the movie is like that whole time they're in that pocket universe. I did not care for any of that shit. Yeah. One thing I noticed though, and then I saw it posted, there's like a shot of the highway. I think it's towards the end of the movie. There's like a shot of like a highway, and it's not a big thing. It's honestly kind of expected, but it's still cool to see. One of like the signs, the like destination signs, said like, take this exit, and it's like it said like Gotham City. So that was cool. That's a cool little Easter egg to see. What else I got? Oh, some of the CGI I also did not care for, and I think that also ties into the river situation because that was all CGI'd. I think the whole CGI budget went to crypto because early in the movie, I don't know if you caught it, in the first fight, there was a close up of David Cornsweat's face that looked legitimately like a PS2 graphic. It was really bad. It was really, really bad. And I don't know if you heard me because you were locked in. I audibly was like, oh, what the fuck? Because I was like, what the hell? Like, somebody did not finish, like, generating the CGI for his face because it looked really, really bad. So that was, like, the first thing. So some of the CGI was really bad in this movie. I'll be honest.
I'm going to have us take a quick second break here.
Yeah, you're good.
Because I got to go use the fucking restroom.
Oh, you're good. I'm going to pause.
Yeah, there are a few points there with the CGI and some of the editing and stuff like that it kind of almost took me out of it a little bit, especially with like that pocket dimension stuff. And it looked a bit odd. It looked a bit like weird almost, especially with that like river and stuff like that. But there was a point where it really did take me out of it almost, where like I get it's supposed to be like a brighter movie and stuff like that, but there was a point with the fight scene with like where Superman gets knocked into like that I don't know if it was a football field or a baseball field or something like that by the engineer and Ultraman and whatnot.
Yeah, I think it was a baseball
there were
field.
a lot. It was a baseball field? Okay. There were a lot of fucking like just obnoxious sun rays that were put in.
Oh my god.
That took me
Dude,
out.
I literally said to you, I was like, I can't see. I literally can't see.
It's like there were just like so many sun rays just like blocking so much.
Oh no, it wasn't even the baseball field. Yeah, I'm talking more so about when he gets to like the Lex's ship. Remember, and he walks in, and behind him, it just like was blaring the sun like directly into the camera like 2 or 3 times, and that's when I was like, I legit cannot see. I don't know what that choice was, but it was not a good choice.
Yeah, I didn't care for that much either. I thought for the most part though that it looked pretty good. It just like a few moments here and there where I was like kind of taken out by just some of the stuff like that, sun rays or some of the CGI and whatnot. But I did like a lot where, because like you sent it to us earlier with like the Hall of Justice, how that was like a legitimate like practical set and stuff like that. I do like crazy. A lot the constant use of like practical sets for this movie.
Yes,
so there really wasn't too many places outside of like the flying fight scenes and stuff like that. A lot of the stuff was like taken in like practical locations and stuff like that, which I liked a lot.
Yeah,
but yeah,
that is something too though we can almost count as a cameo in itself, is the Hall of Justice. That neither of us suspected that, and when it popped up on the screen, we both were like, "Oh shit! Oh shit!" So that was cool. I would count that as another cameo because that's just such an iconic building. Isn't that maybe I'm wrong because I know it's like the Super Friends thing, but is that where like the Justice League's headquarters is, or is that something else?
No, technically not. It kind of is like their Earth headquarters, because technically their real headquarters is like the Watchtower and stuff like that.
Right.
That's more so kind of like a half headquarters, half like relations to like the people and like Earth and stuff like that, where the people can come by and like maybe like meet a hero or something like that.
Right.
There is like, when it is like fully finished and stuff like that, there's kind of like a secret portal that only Justice League members can access that leads them to the Watchtower, which is their actual base of operations and whatnot.
That's cool.
But in terms of like an on-Earth location, that's the closest thing they really have to like a headquarters.
That's what I figured. But in general, it's just such a icon. Maybe it's the iconic kind of like DC building. Maybe the Fortress of Solitude more so. But like that is definitely one of the most iconic DC kind of landmarks for sure. Is the Hall of Justice. So yeah, very excited to see that. And yeah, it was under construction, being built. I did say to you, I don't know if you caught it because you were locked in, that I really was intrigued to see what was being like put on those murals that were being painted. Right. Because they like, you can see like half of it, but you can't see enough to see what's there, you know? So I was like, that'll be cool. You know, at some point, I'm sure when we see this building again, we'll see what actually is on those murals. So that'll be cool. Right. Yeah. Another note for me though, we kind of talked a little bit about it. Loved all the Daily Planet crew, dude.
Yes.
Jimmy, Steve, even like Kat Grant, she had a very, very small role, but she was fun. Yeah, the whole Daily Planet crew was great. So that's a very big upside compared to Man of Steel for sure.
I think personally, this is probably the best iteration we've gotten from like the Daily Planet crew, because it's like Man of Steel, it was pretty much non-existent. Right. In the original like Superman movies, it was kind of existent. Jimmy was like kind of there, but it was really just like Lois Lane and Perry White. They were really the only two like actual standout characters in that whole scenario and stuff like that. But this definitely like fleshes that out and makes it a lot more like accurate to the comics, where he'll have that whole interaction with everybody at the Daily Planet and whatnot, and all of his coworkers and stuff like that. It adds that whole extra layer that was kind of missing for Man of Steel, but is really prevalent here.
Well, missing from really that whole universe, because I know like Daily Planet does show back up in like Batman vs Superman and Justice League, I think, and stuff. But even then, it's still very, very small. But honestly, I feel like even in those movies, it's still bigger than what it was in Man of Steel. So yeah, is Superman and Lois? Does he like work at the Daily Planet in that show or no?
No, because they live back out in Kansas. They live back out in Smallville. So
gotcha.
Lois is like, she's pursuing a career in like local journalism and stuff like that, and trying to like break ground on like super secret superhero stuff that's happening and whatnot in the town and stuff like that. But
Right.
He's still like Superman and whatnot, so he'll obviously fly back to Metropolis a lot and do a lot of stuff there. But they're not really connected with the Daily Planet anymore in that show.
Gotcha. Another note: Hawkgirl. Her screech to me was annoying as hell. I'm gonna be dead ass. I love Isabella Merced. I've said it multiple times. I think she is like one of the rising stars in Hollywood for sure. She's booked and busy, bro. Whether it's Alien Romulus, The Last of Us, shitty ass Madam Web, or Superman, she is booked and busy. So I love Isabella Merced. So definitely was excited, and I don't hate the character. I think it was literally just the screech. Like I said earlier, she doesn't have a lot to do in this movie. I did laugh at the scene where she kind of kills that guy, and she's just like, huh, "I'm not Superman." That shit was kind of funny to me. But the screech itself, I was like, "Oh God, I don't like that." And Wyatt, friend of the pod, went and saw this at IMAX, and he said, "Whatever you experienced, it was even worse than IMAX." He was like, "My ears almost started bleeding. It was pretty insane." So I'm still excited for this character because it is Isabella Merced. I'm excited to see her in season 2 of Peacemaker. But the screeching, I don't know, maybe they need to change the way it is or something like that because I was not a fan of that. That was the one thing about Hawkgirl that I was not a fan of.
Yeah, I wasn't really too much connected with her character, especially in like comparison to the other members of the Justice Gang and whatnot. I just think again it's because there wasn't much of her. There was only really like a few standout scenes or lines that she really had or anything like that.
Right.
I would like to see more of her because she is a very like prevalent and major character in the overarching like DC universe and stuff like that. But just from what we've gotten here, we didn't really get too much. So I wasn't
very intense backstory. I told you, I think yesterday before we saw the movie or the day before that I was watching like a video that was like, here's everything you need to know about Hawkgirl before you see Superman. And I was like, bro, I cannot comprehend like any of this because it is so insane. It's so insane. Yes. I just know that she like is a dead alien, but she's not. Like she's possessing her spirit possesses the dead body of an alien or something like that. That's what it is. I think that seems to be the story they're going with because I believe Isabella Merced said in an interview that like that's the version they're running with. So yeah, but I'm excited to see her in Peacemaker. I just didn't like the screeching. That's all. I got 2 more kind of things here. Post-credit scene stuff was horrible. That was trash. I was expecting more for this being the first big project. Should have set something up. Yeah, I just feel like I don't know. And I feel like we've gotten to this part where superhero movies in general, I feel like it's been a while since we've gotten a very meaningful post-credit scene. And I feel like that's an issue because the post-credit scenes have always been like this huge thing with these movies that always tease or set up or directly connect to the next thing or whatever. And I feel like, in the past couple of years we have strayed away from that, and a lot of post-credit scenes in comic book movies are just funny gags at this point. I'm kind of tired of it, man, because it's like, I'm not gonna lie, I sat through 2 hours of a movie. I really don't want to sit through 10 minutes of credits to see, in this case, 2 guys just joke about a building being a little tilted. Like, I'm like, come on. I talked to Wyatt about this. He completely disagreed. I think you might be glazing the movie a little too much. You might be glazing the movie more than you are. He was like, I completely disagree. The issue with the DCEU was that they tried to set everything up and connected everything too much in the first movie, which, to me, the first movie was Man of Steel. There was really nothing that connected anything in Man of Steel. That was a solo movie. So I don't really know what he's talking about, but I think he might just be on that new Marvel hype type deal that we always talk about.
Right.
Because I thought, and you agreed, you loved the movie, but you also agreed that the post-credit situation should have been way better, especially for it being the first real big project. There should have been something, and I'm not asking for, again, I'm not even asking for Amanda Waller to come out of the shadows and try and recruit, Metamorpho for the Suicide Squad. I'm just asking for something, say just some sort of tease of something,
What I think really should have went down is that like mid-credit scene where it's just Superman sitting on the moon with like Crypto in his arms, but we don't even really like see him. I feel like that should have been scrapped entirely. That did not need to happen at all. That was probably that I did not like that scene at all. Well, it's not that I didn't like it. I just felt like it was completely
it's cute, but it just doesn't add anything.
It's cute, but it doesn't add anything at all.
Right.
I think they should have moved the post-credit scene up to the mid-credit scene.
Right.
And then taking that scene with Supergirl, made that the post-credit scene. I think
I
that
also was thinking the same thing. I was thinking for sure that, the Supergirl stuff should have been the stinger at the end. Maybe make it a bigger deal. Maybe add in something that directly sets up her movie, like she shows up or whatever, and she, instead of just leaving, she has to leave because something is happening. Even in her drunken state, she goes, "Oh shit, I gotta go," and dashes out of there because she, hears that Lobo is doing some stupid shit. I don't know, whatever it is. But there definitely, I agree with you. There should have been the post-credit scene should have been the Supergirl stuff for sure, and they should have cut at least one of those two scenes because they both are kind of unnecessary and kind of boring. But yeah, so my last note here: overall, good movie and good start to the new universe, but it felt like it was missing something for me. But I'm also not a huge Superman fan, so maybe that's why it just didn't connect with me. But definitely felt like there was something missing, and maybe that goes back to the post-credit scene thing that I was hoping, again, to kind of kick off this new universe. And I'm not even saying that we were going to find out that, who Batman is, but it would have been cool if there was something connecting to Gotham City or to Supergirl or something
I think
that
I'm
shows us,
fine with it, just because
that this universe is growing. Because it seems like
the Justice Gang and all that.
The biggest connector to this universe is Peacemaker so far. Said so.
I'm okay with
Rick
that.
Flag
It's like we already have Supergirl.
Definitely would have liked something bigger
kind of
with
already coming and stuff like that. It's already done.
Batman or Wonder Woman or
so I'm just
Martian Manhunter or something connecting their character or their location or something.
Wait and see what they build up next. I'm pretty hopeful though after this movie and whatnot because I do really like it a lot.
Right. Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, and again, I'm not hating on it at all, and I understand, again, this is still a new universe, and, they are doing a Batman movie that's, in this universe, it's not connected to the patents and stuff. It's, going to be its own thing, and, again, he has plans to bring in a Wonder Woman and a Green Lantern Corps, and we have that Lantern show that's coming that obviously is going to introduce a lot more Lanterns. I believe they already confirmed that Guy Gardner will appear in that show as well. So yeah, I'm not against it. I just would have liked something. I don't know. Again, maybe I'm just comparing it to Iron Man, where it literally is this huge post-credit scene that teased the Avengers and literally is one of the most iconic post-credit scenes ever. So like comparing that to this, I'm like, I wish we could have just got something juicier, something bigger. But overall, I still did enjoy the movie, and I'm excited to see where we go from here with Superman, with Lois Lane,
yeah, this is definitely
with Hawkgirl, with Guy Gardner, with Mr. Terrific, with Crypto, with Supergirl, with Peacemaker, with Rick Flag, all these characters. I'm excited to see where everything
far
goes
earlier
from
in the episode, but if you
definitely
are,
not.
interested in seeing
I know everybody said this is
about
the
seeing this movie,
make or
go
break
and watch it, 'cause
if
I do
this
think
universe is going to be good or if this DC stuff is just cooked in general. I don't think it's cooked. I think we're off to a good start for sure. And I'm excited again to see Peacemaker and Lanterns and Supergirl
against
and
like Marvel
everything
and
else
stuff like
that they
than
got planned
it's
for
been
sure.
in a very, very long time. And I'm very excited to see what they do.
Yep. Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. Which you could also say, I feel like some people may feel threatened by that people think Marvel has come down. That's debatable, and you and I don't necessarily fully agree with that, and whatnot. But if anything, DC coming around and having impactful stuff like this is just going to make Marvel better. It's not going to kill Marvel. Nobody's wishing for that either. James Gunn is friends with Kevin Feige. He literally did 3 movies and a Christmas special with Marvel. He, I'm saying, if anything, it's going to make Marvel want to be better. And at some point, I wouldn't put it past them to find a way to cross streams here and find. It could be 20 years from now, but I could see a universe here. I could see something where a Captain America pops up in a Superman movie or something, and we do. Because I know that's some crazy thing, and I might be crazy for saying it, but the fact that everybody's so friendly on both sides, I could see a Justice League versus Avengers movie definitely coming down the line at some point. So that would be fucking earth shattering for sure if that did happen. So yeah, anything else you want to add before we end our review here? Yeah, for sure. I am too. Again, wasn't my favorite, but I'm definitely excited to see where we go from here. And yeah, so that's kind of our Superman review. If you guys like this and you're new here, follow along, hit subscribe, follow us on our socials for sure. You know, we do a podcast every week. If you're unfamiliar, we do a podcast every week. This is a bonus podcast. This isn't even the official podcast. The podcast that we just recorded today, that, you know, is this week's podcast, is our top 5 DC characters. Stay on theme with the Superman stuff, and we got into some interesting conversation about that and some differences in our lists and whatnot. But we do DC, Marvel, Star Wars, wrestling, everything nerdy and fun. We talk about it. So follow along, and with that, we will see y'all next time.